everybody, it's Kelly with Inky Hands Warm Hearts. How are you guys today? I am excited to bring to you another video. This video is going to be about this adorable card right here. I think it's just the cutest and I think that you're going to love it. So let's go ahead and get started on that. We're going to work on it. It's using the Seize the Day bundle, which is this stamp set and dies, and I've paired it with the Gentle Waves stamp set and also some layering circles to get our ocean view right there. So let me move this stuff out of the way and then we can go ahead and get started. All right. We're going to start with a piece of Coastal Cabana, and it is quite an amazing piece of cardstock. I love this color. And it's perfect to make any kind of ocean scenes because down in the Caribbean, this seems to be the beautiful color of the water. So it is 5.5 by 8.5, and it's basically a half sheet of cardstock that's been scored down the middle here at 4 1/4. I'm going to use my bone folder, and we are going to go ahead and burnish on that score line there, putting my points together and giving it a nice burnish with my bone folder. Love my little bone folder. All right, so this card is going to be in this direction here where it's going to open on this side. I'll show you the inside. We have a cool little jellyfish in there. Isn't that neat? And some bubbles. So let's just stamp him and get him out of the way. So we're going to grab our Coastal Cabana ink, which is the same color as our cardstock. Let's see, we're gonna ink up our goldfish. Oh my. And we're gonna just stamp it over here, kind of like it's floating around on the inside of the card. What I love about these stamps is that they have a texture to them. You can kind of see right there that it's not all solid. It has like some texture in the background, which makes it a really fun stamp set. I love stamp sets that have texture. Now we're going to do some bubbles here. The bubbles ensure that it basically shows that it's like an underwater scene. So what do you think so far? Not bad for the inside, right? They got to see something cool in there as well. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and clean these two stamps and then we can talk about the outside. All right, so let's look at the outside of our card. You can see we have a piece of basic white and it is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. This is it right here. And it is going to be the piece that goes over the top. But as you can see on my sample here, there is some waves in the background. And those are made with the Gentle Waves stamp set right here. So I have attached that to my Stamparatus, and I want to stamp some waves in the background on this piece of Coastal Cabana. But as you can see, I don't have any showing on the edges. So you have to be a little bit careful because the background stamp is exactly this large, just like what you see here on the front of this case, the stamp case that it come in. So since this is so large, you don't want it to go over the edges. And so I'm going to bring my Stamparatus in. Here it is. So we're going to stamp this up and we are going to add some ink. And it is going to be a sneak peek ink. Now, we are getting new in colors and they begin on May the 3rd, but I do have some for you to check out. So today we're using Starry Sky, which is one of the new in colors. So if you like it, it'll be available to get starting on May the 3rd of 2022. And I also use that for the octopus. So what I have done here is I have decided that I'm only going to ink part of this background stamp. So I'm going to bring it here and I'm actually going to put a case underneath it. It really helps to ink when you have the stamp laying flat. So putting a stamp case underneath is helpful. So I'm going to grab my ink pad and I'm going to bring it down to the surface. So I'm just going to ink up a portion of the stamp. I don't want the whole thing. And as you can see, I'll show you in a minute, that right here on this part, that's this kind of open piece, and then this is the more solid at the bottom. So if I'm going to bring this stamp down, like so, and it's going to ink that open piece there, I need to put my card in this position. So it needs to be placed in my Stamparatus upside down so that the opening's on that side, because I want that thin piece to be on the top of my opening. So we're going to go ahead and place this in here, and I'm going to grab these magnets that I have, and I'm going to, they're very strong, as you can see. Even pulling one up is hard. So I'm going to put one right here on this corner here, and I'm going to line it up to make sure that I have a little bit of ink on each end. And then I'm going to try and put this one up here, and hopefully it won't interfere with my stamp. We will see. I'm going to test it out before I push it down to see. Oh yeah, good. It bypasses it. So this is going to put ink onto our surface, but it is not going to stamp the entire all the way out to the edge, which is what we want. So the cool thing about the Stamparatus is that you can position any stamp on it. Even doesn't have to be a background stamp, but it works out perfect for the background stamp. And if you ink wrong and you don't get a full ink, you can put more ink on there and you're able to re-stamp and press down again, because it keeps the stamp in the exact same place. As long as you have these magnets down, you should be good. So I'm going to move that back magnet up a little bit more to kind of hold my card in place. So we're good to go. Let's go ahead and give it a press. So I'm going to put my, make sure I'm in camera here. I'm going to put my fist and I'm just going to circle around, pressing that ink down onto my card. And then we're going to give it a look. I'm going to give it a peek. And I actually did pretty good. That section there, it looks like I didn't have that much ink on there, but it's okay because, like I said, we don't want it on the two edges. We don't want that to show. So it worked out rather well. So I'm going to go ahead and move my magnets and pull my card out. So that is how I positioned it. And now when we add this layer over the top, you're not going to be able to see that it is, you know, unfinished. It's going to look like the ocean. So that's how I got that beautiful ocean background. Okay. So to clean that, what I tend to do is I usually use a baby wipe to start out with, and then I will put it in my chamois. I just don't like to put it straight into my chamois. And I also like to use scrap paper, which I do keep lots of scrap paper on my desk area. Whenever I print stuff, I do use lots of scrap paper. So I'm going to put that down and I'm going to give it another press and try and get as much ink off of there as I can. We'll do it one more time. I put 2 pieces of the scrap paper on there. And once I've purged most of that ink off of there, then I can throw those 2 scrap pieces away. I'm going to pull this off so that you guys can see. And I'm going to grab my baby wipes. I just don't want to muddy up my chamois where I have to then rinse it immediately. So that's why I'm using the baby wipes to start. And as long as you fold the ink over, you can avoid getting it on your fingers. Okay, so there is the baby wipe full of ink. And now I'm going to actually use my chamois. I'm going to pull it out of the holder. I mean, I have it in a stamp case, so I'm just going to press it over the top, deposit my the water that's in the chamois, and I'm just going to kind of scrub it a little. to get in those nooks and crannies and get most of the ink out. And that's how you clean a large background stamp. So let's go ahead and put this back in this stamp case, and I'm going to put it off to the side, and we are done for now. I'm going to slide this magnet back in there with our Stamparatus. So for our octopus, I'm going to show you how I got this really nice look. So the octopus stamp, if you stamp it just straight, I'm going to grab a scrap paper. Let me see, right here in front of me, I keep lots, like I said, scrap paper. So if you stamp the octopus stamp directly into the ink and stamp it down, you're going to get a very dark impression. And I did not want that dark impression. Let me get my ink clean. I just want to get as much off as possible. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take ink from my ink pad. I'm going to grab that on a blending brush, and I'm going to deposit it onto my octopus by blending the ink directly onto the stamp. I'm going to go one more time, and it's still putting the ink on there, but it's not putting a lot of pressure. So when I stamp my octopus down this time, you see the difference? So as I deposit more ink onto the stamp with the blending brush, I'm going to grab a little bit more so you guys can see. I'm going to grab another piece of scrap paper. And we stamp that down. You see how the octopus keeps getting darker? So that's how I got the look of this octopus right here. So that's straight, that's real light, and then this is a little bit more ink. But you can use your blending brushes to deposit ink onto your stamp, especially on these textured stamps, so that you get a pretty look. And here is our octopus. I've already stamped it and cut it out, but I did want to show you how I did that. And I did the same thing here for the fish. This one is stamped direct, and then that one is using the blending brush. And I've already gone ahead and stamped both of those as well, so they're right here. I'm going to clean my stamp though and clean that octopus off. Hopefully I'm not moving my mat too much. This little octopus stamp has a lot of little nooks and crannies, so by picking up my chamois and depositing it into those nooks and crannies, it helps to really clean it really well. So we'll put him off to the side. All right, so we have our fish and we have our octopus, and then we have some coral or some seaweed or some greenery from under the sea. I have two of these. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to attach those onto the back of this circle. Now this was cut with the layering circles, the largest of the smooth circles. I absolutely love these dies, so definitely check them out. That's what I use for my circle right here. So before I do that, let's go ahead and use our Coastal Cabana, and we're going to stamp our words in the corner. Thanks from the depths of my heart. We'll put that right there so it's ready to go. All right. Whoa! See why it's called Inky Hands Warm Hearts? Me and the ink pads are always friends. The really awesome thing is I keep a spray bottle of rubbing alcohol, and I just spray it when I make a mess on myself. But I am pretty good about getting my hands pretty inked up. And it does help to have that spray bottle. You can also use hand sanitizer, and it generally cleans your hands pretty easily. I'm actually going to flip that over because I don't really like that impression that I got. That's what I was trying to check out when I almost dropped my ink pad. At least I didn't drop it on my on my mat, right? It could have been worse. And you got to laugh at yourself because seriously, like if you're too serious, you just shouldn't stamp. Every hobby has fun, and you always end up, you know, even everything, golfing, darts, cross stitch, you know, there's always mistakes, things that happen. crocheting, knitting, quilting, you know. But you just gotta laugh and keep going, right? All right, let's clean off this stamp and then we can start assembling our card. All right. So we're going to attach the seaweed, and what I want to do is I want to lay it on here how I want it to, whoops, I didn't mean to pull it through there. I want to lay it behind here about where I want it to fall. And I think I want it a little bit farther down and a little bit more angled. So not so much of this one showing. So about like so. So it looks like I can put some adhesive. I have 1, 2, 3, and then the ones below it can get adhesive, and then these on the side can also get adhesive, and then the one that matches that third one on the right side, it can get adhesive. So what I'm gonna do is I kind of have a little plan now, right? I'm gonna flip my die over. I'm gonna use my wet glue. So I said 3 down. So we're going to do this top one, if I can get my glue going. There we go. I love using the silicone mat because I can get my glue going on it. So we're going to do that one. And then we said 1, 2, 3 down. Okay. So 1, 2, this is the third one. The one that matches it. And then all of these, we're going to put some on there. And then that should be good. I want some of those to be floating around, so it's really okay. And I don't want the whole thing to be stuck flat. So we're going to flip that over. And then what I'm going to do on the other side is I am going to adhere the, oh, I forgot. It was 2 down, I think, right? So I forgot to put some on this side. All right, so let's go ahead and flip that over. We're going to use our mat here because that's going to go down onto our thing. We also want this stem area and part of this to get some adhesive because it's going to be attached to the white part of our card. So we're going to attach that first. Let's get that extra glue off. This is going to go this way. How did I have it like this? Yes, this is looking good already, don't you think? I'm very happy with that. All right, so we're going to grab that first, and then we're going to flip it over, and then that glue there will stick when we put down our card. All right, so next, let's go ahead and attach. I'm going to leave this on my piece here. When we go to attach, we're going to put some adhesive on our seaweed here. So let's go ahead and add that. We're going to have this one right here, kind of sticking out from this end. And then we're going to put one more coming from the bottom on the right. And so I'm going to go ahead and attach it. I love using the silicone mat because this glue can be totally messy, but it doesn't have to be, right? So there's our little scene that we've built. And now we're going to go ahead and attach it onto our card, but it's not going to be glued flat. So, oh Lord, I just realized that I put that glue on the back and I didn't really need it. Just forgive me, guys. It's just, I got flustered, I guess, from dropping that ink pad. But it's okay. We're going to just keep going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put my dimensionals all the way around. So I'm going to grab a new one. I had finished, last time I was stamping, I had finished the last of a pack of dimensionals. So I'm going to go ahead and just work my way around. I'm just going to evenly put them around the edges. And then we're going to work around that circle because we want that circle to be really supported. And by us adding a few extra dimensionals, we're going to put one there because there's a lot more room at the bottom. We don't want any of it to fall. And then we're going to put an extra few around this circle. So one there, one there, and then we'll put one on this side, maybe right here. And I'm going to use the minis because I'm just going to put a few more, but I don't think it needs a large dimensional. We're just going to put a few small ones. Maybe around the circle is where I'm the most concerned, so I'm just going to add a few little ones around that circle. All right, so I'm happy with that. It looks like quite the bevy of dimensionals, but trust me, it's worth it so that you have a nice supported card. We're going to go ahead and pull the backs off, and they are fairly inexpensive. They're like, I think like $4, and you get, I think, 300 in the pack, so they do last a while. I like to use the take your pick tool to pull the backs off. To me, it just pulls everything off so nice, and then you can take it right to the trash can and not have dimensionals all over your craft room floor. Before this take your pick tool, that's what would happen to me. Let me make sure I got all of those. Yeah, I did. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the last few here at the bottom. See, it wasn't quite that many. One more to go. All right, so now we're ready. We're going to go ahead and attach this down just like so, and we're going to leave that little border. It's just a slight border of that coastal cabana showing around the edges. And I'm going to use, I have an adhesive remover, and sometimes when I use that wet glue, I do touch my card, and I just want to make sure that it's nice and clean. I'm happy with how that looks. Now we are going to go ahead and attach our ocean scene down. So we're going to put our fishy. We're going to put a dimensional in the back of him. Let's grab one. We're going to put one on this guy. And then we're going to put one on the head of the octopus. But the rest of the octopus is just going to get glued flat. So let's go ahead and pull the backs off. And then we'll be ready to go. I hope you're liking this card. I really had a fun time designing it. I liked building this underwater scene. So this little guy's going to swim from this side, and this one's swimming from this side, which is why I wanted them to be a little bit different colored. And then the octopus is going to get, let's place where he's going to be. So it looks like not that tentacle and not his head, obviously. So let's go ahead and give him some wet adhesive. I'm going to bring my silicone mat back in, I think, because I'm going to end up getting this glue on myself. I'm very good about that. Hence why I use the silicone mat. We're going to go ahead and just kind of follow the lines of my octopus and put mostly our adhesive on there. And then we will grab my tweezers, which is another trick. I use reverse action tweezers a lot, so we're going to grab those. And then I'll move the mat out of the way. And we're going to position my little octopus on here, and maybe, yeah, right about here we'll put his head. I just think this octopus is so cool. That looks awesome. I want to just give it a hold a minute so that the adhesive will grab onto our card. That looks pretty great, don't you think? What do you guys think? Oh, I think I might have got a little bit crooked. Let me see if I can lift it slightly. I don't know if I pushed it down too hard already. Yeah. Gonna just move it slightly over if I can. One more. All right. So let's just move that over just a hair. There we go. All right, so to cover any blemishes, that's why we have embellishments, right? So we're going to use that to cover any blemishes that we have on our card, and we are going to be using these beautiful Artistry Bloom sequins. They are retiring, so you have until May the 2nd to get them, and they're pretty awesome. So we're going to start here. I'm going to put one on this side to cover that little faux pas that I have there. And then I'm going to add one with that one. I do like putting them to look kind of like a bubbles that are floating. And then we'll put another, maybe another big one. Let's see, if I can't get it up that way, I'll get this way. Let's put it, let's see, is there any more spots? Maybe right there. All right, this is the cutest card. I'm going to put 2 more small ones, I think. Let's put one over here. I'm getting a little carried away, but they're so cute. Let's put another one maybe down here. Yeah, I love that. That looks pretty awesome. So there is our card. It wasn't too hard to make. I mean, I did make some mistakes with the glue. Dropping the ink pad wasn't really the best idea either, but overall, I think I did all right. What do you guys think? I do not edit my videos because, I mean, life's too short, right? You gotta catch the bloopers. All right, so let's go ahead and put the other card up with it. I will show you the beautiful stamp set and dies. Seize the day. It is an awesome bundle. Definitely check it out. And I hope that you will also pair Gentle Waves. It works out perfectly with this stamp set. Don't forget, if you do not own the layering circle dies, they're a wonderful addition. I appreciate you guys watching today. Thanks again. And I hope to see you on another video soon. If you do not have me under your subscribe, I would appreciate it if you do subscribe. Give me a thumbs up, a comment, share the video with your friends, those who you think would enjoy it. And if you do subscribe, you'll get notifications of when I post new videos. Check out my blog, Inky Hands Warm Hearts. It is linked in the description below, as are all the products that you need to purchase. I do have a host code on my website that you can see in the sidebar if you're on the computer, or at the very bottom if you scroll to the bottom once you go to inkyhandswarmhearts.com. And if you order under $150, I would appreciate if you use the current host code that's there. It definitely helps me to bring you more video content. I do blog every day, so there's always lots of inspiration for you to check out. I'm really grateful to have you here. Thanks again for watching. This is Kelly with Inky Hands Warm Hearts. Happy stamping!